Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of Andrewsfootball.com, and it's just by coincidence that as I talk about the 7th pick in the NFL draft that the Jacksonville Jaguars announced today that they signed Nick Foles to an $88 million deal. So I want to take credit for saying I planned it out perfect, that the day I'm talking about the Jaguars draft pick is the same day that Foles is signed. It's just by coincidence. However, I knew that Foles was going to sign with Jacksonville. It really seemed to be a good mix for both teams. Foles needed a team. Jacksonville needed a quarterback. And, Doug Marrone, he's an old school offensive line coach. And you also have Tom Coughlin, the general manager, former head coach in New York Giants. He's an old school head coach and turned GM. So I don't think that they want to go young again. They want to go with a veteran quarterback, who's already won a ring because he's already proved he can do it. So that makes a lot of sense. The one thing I will say is I'm really surprised at how much money Foles is getting. I thought he would actually want to take less money. I know it sounds crazy, but when you take a little less money, you can open up the talent pool around Jacksonville. But that said, this team has got a lot of talent. All right, I mean this team actually had some really good drafts. 3 years ago they ended up taking Ramsey, Miles Jack, Yannick. No, I can't pronounce it, but Pro Bowl defensive lineman. And then, 2 years ago, Cam Robinson, starting left tackle, looked like it was going to be stud. Had some injury issues last year, but when he was healthy as a rookie, looked awesome. Leonard Fournette just looked like an absolute stud. And then D.D. Westbrook is turning into a really nice deep threat slot receiver. Imagine what you could do with some better quarterback play. But the draft last year was horrible. But some of these players could come back in 2019. Taven Bryan just swing and a miss. But this is a guy who was very talented coming out of the University of Florida, somebody I was really high on. So the expectations for him to be able just to contribute would really help this team dramatically. DJ Chark, a guy who some people had mocked late first round last year, ended up going late second. Guy of 4.3 speed, just battled a ton of injuries, really had a hard time getting into games. But this is a guy who does have a lot of deep speed and a potential. So, I mean, there's still some good pieces in play for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Keep in mind, 2 years ago, this team's up by 10 in the AFC Championship game in the fourth quarter. So, are they that team, or are they the 5-11 team that they were this year? The answers are somewhere in the middle, but are you closer to that championship game, or are you closer to 5-11? Because this is a very interesting draft because you do have some really good skill positions. Players on offense. You do have your quarterback you gave a lot of money to. Your defense has a ton of talent on it. And 2 years ago, they were one of the best, if not the best defense in football. So if you end up picking in the top 10 again, after you spend all this money on Foles, I got a feeling Coughlin will stay, Marrone will go. So this is a very important draft. And the best part is that they have the 7th pick in this round, the 6th in round 2, but they have 2 picks in the 3rd round, the 5th pick and then the 34th pick. So they're going to have an opportunity not just in the 1st round, but in the 2nd and the 3rd round to add playmakers to make a difference this year. And I really think that's the direction that you're going in, because you can't go from up by 10 in the 4th quarter of the AFC Championship game to 5-11 and then have another top 10 pick the following year and expect to keep your job. It's not going to happen. So I really think that Doug Marrone needs to go. I'd have to say he'd have to go 8-8, maybe 7-9 is enough to keep his job. So he really has to do a good job in this draft. So, not just the first pick, but the other picks, because one of the things that, and I'm going to talk about this later on, but it's really important that you get some value in players who can contribute to your team in the later rounds, not just the first round. But for the 7th pick in the 2019 draft, I got the Jacksonville Jaguars taking Jonah Williams, offensive lineman out of Alabama. Now, let me explain. 2 years ago, they chose Cam Robinson early in the 2nd round. He was a guy who slipped into round 2, and I had him going in first round. But unlike a lot of other teams that saw him as a right tackle, they put him on the left side and just flourished with Leonard Fournette, and that running game helped propel them. I could actually make an argument Cam Robinson was more responsible for them getting to the AFC Championship game than Leonard Fournette, but this is for you hardcore football fans that know how important the left tackle is. So now keep in mind, Tom Coughlin's last year in New York, he drafted Eric Flowers with the 9th pick. Well, they signed him from waivers, and they're hoping that he can contribute on the right side. So you're saying, hey, Dan, wait a minute. I got a left tackle and a right tackle. Why am I drafting Jonah Williams top 10? There's so many more exciting and available picks here. Doug Marrone's an offensive line coach, and his job is in jeopardy. All right, he's on a short leash. He has to do better. And the best part is about Jonah Williams is, as far as offensive lineman goes, he is the safest pick in the draft. He was a starter as a freshman. Played left tackle. Finished right, where Cam Robinson left off. And the best part is that if it doesn't work out for Eric Flowers, you move him to right tackle. He's your day one starter at right tackle. Eric Flowers looks like he can live up to that top 10 pick potential. Great. You have him on starter, move Williams to the inside, day one starter. And if you're an offensive line coach, give you the position that you need to flourish, because if it doesn't work out, you still got a very good starting guard or right tackle. Out of all the players in the draft, this is a plug-and-play guy, and it's an extremely safe pick for an old-school coach and an old-school GM. So it's not flashy. It's not exciting. However, it provides stability. And what they're trying to do is really completely different than a lot of other teams. This team's an old school team. They want to run the ball, they want to play good defense, and they want a quarterback who's just not going to turn the ball over. They're not asking him to be Patrick Mahomes, even though they're paying him a lot more. They just asking him not to lose the game. They're not really asking him to win the game. So that's my thought process. That's my selection. However, the cool thing is about the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's really dealer's choice. They can do whatever they want with this pick. You could actually trade down very easily. I don't see them trading up because the defense is already really good. You don't need one of those stud defensive players. Could you trade down? Absolutely. And you the best part is because you're getting an old school offensive lineman. There's some really good offensive linemen that are going to go late first, or like Cam Robinson, they put him on the left side. Most teams had him on the right side. I had him on the right side, and I still thought he was a first-round pick. I actually had him mocked the Houston Texans, I think, at 24 when he went, I want to say 34th overall, so it had been the second pick in the third round. Yeah, he went 34th. Actually, I had him going, I think it was 23 or 24 to Houston, and I thought that might have been too low for Cam Robinson. But so I see them dipping into the Alabama offensive line well again, getting the safest offensive lineman in the draft, a plug-and-play guy, instant help to your offense, your quarterback. You spend $88 million, go ahead and protect him, and then you really got to run. The offense is going to be run through, pardon the pun, through Fournette, the running back. So that's the Jacksonville Jaguars plan, I think. That's what they're going to do in the draft. If they're going to do anything, I could see them trading down. But if you're going to pick in the top 10 in 2019, it's going to be without Doug Marrone. So I think you give Doug Marrone an opportunity as a former offensive line coach to get him his favorite offensive lineman to help protect that $88 million quarterback. So in conclusion here, if you're a Andrews Football subscriber, you know you're one of the greatest people on planet Earth. However, if you're new to Andrews Football or a fan of the NFL Draft or a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, it's your first time viewing the channel, there's this red button right down here. See it right there? It's a red, looks like Chiefs Reds. Also, BAM! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. Wait till tomorrow I break down the 8th pick in the NFL Draft. So I'll see you tomorrow.